our ancient ancestors built the pyramids. But when we say ancient ones, we keep saying you have to look at them as extraterrestrials because they came from different star systems and they came here. And to come here from a constellation such as Orion or Sirius or the other many, constellations, even mentioned in your biblical scripts, to come here, you need to have a level of intelligence and method of transport that a normal kind of like evolving human without that type of technology would not have. So they used technology that we're only just starting to discover now. They were able to do things like levitation, using things like 3D printers, using, a lot of things that we're just starting to learn about. If you look at the locations of the pyramid, remember that the landmass was once all one, and those pyramids were right in the center of the planet. You see, because the planet, we've measured it when you use mathematics, because that's what you have to look at. Look at the mathematics that were used to place it right in the center of the planet. We know the circumference of the planet being 24,000 miles. We know the diameter, right? So if you cut the diameter in half, you're going to get to where the radius is, right? So they knew this maths to basically measure and place it in the center. Those stones were weighing 100, 200 tons, right? Which is impossible for anybody to carry. Even the best cranes, when you look at how they're constructing buildings today, can never lift those stones. I've been to Egypt, I've climbed the pyramids and the stones, you can see it. No, that's not something that people that, you watch all these shows on like these channels and they're trying to figure out, well, we think this and we think that. The master teacher wrote a book called The Science of the Pyramids back then, explaining and breaking down how the pyramids were built. And he explained that they were the same way as above, so below. So now they're discovering about, how the pyramids are going the other way. It's really a diamond. If you look at a diamond, and the first half of that being inside or on the ground. And we actually did a video already on OSM Vision that you can check out on the pyramids, but there's more to come. But they were actually placed along the ley lines of the planet to harness the energy. The earth has natural resources and natural energy that extraterrestrial was like looking for, sorting out, and they come here, and the pyramids give out something called standard columnar waves, right, which is referred to as tachyon energy, and that forms that double helix, right? So this is energy that extraterrestrials were able to come and use to charge their crafts. You see, the pyramids as you see them today, the ones in Giza anyway, there are pyramids all over the world. There are more pyramids in Sudan. There's some underwater. They were used for many things to balance out the planet, because modern man not really knowing certain sciences, they were just building buildings with no knowledge of how the weight of the planet, it affects, the entropy affects the whole planet, the vibration. And that's why, like, when you have to take something out. If something comes in, right, it affects the weight. So that's why some of these beings that were coming here, they're weightless, yeah? And they had to stop building with certain types of materials, like bricks and certain heavy materials, where everything went to, to being light. Even cars, right, they became mainly built with fiberglass, and a lot of buildings became glass buildings, right? So that was because the weight of the planet was too much on one side. which affects the vibration on the planet. The pyramids were used for rituals, they were used for schools, they were used for chambers of teaching certain sciences like alchemy. This is why everyone was going into Egypt. You know, they tell you all the greatest characters in the biblical stories go to Egypt. They had the science of alchemy, which became distorted into what you're calling miracles in the biblical scripts. So there's so much to talk about when it comes to the pyramids. But yeah, our ancestors built them with the science of levitation, and they were instructing, you know, the descendants on the planet, who also helped when you start to look at masonry and going into what is masonry. Masonry is dealing with building, right? Stone, someone that works with stone. These stones were cut to precision using laser. So there's so much that we can talk about. But if you could get hold of that book called The Science of the Pyramid by the greatest author of all time, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, he will go into more detail. But there's some secrets, of course, that are not going to be shared, and this is why there's a mystery around the pyramids. Everybody wants to know, how were they built, who built them, and some people are now claiming it to be, oh, it was the Pleiadians that built them and the Ashtar, because everybody's trying to claim the glory, knowing that Egypt is in Africa, and the stories were written on the walls of everything that took place. Some stories are relayed from mouth to ear through different mystery schools and passed down from generation to generation. You see, so the master's secret is with Partner Babyanun, and some of those secrets will never be revealed, because you have to be worthy, you see, or you have to be in certain orders to receive that which is not going to be just tossed to, like they say, you can't take pearls and give them to swine.